The men who interrogated Heisenberg and other German scientists read their reports and gaped at the primitive reactor vessel in a cave in southern Germany, were hard put to explain what had gone wrong. Germany had begun the war with every advantage: able scientists, material resources, and the support and interest of the highest military officials. How could they have achieved so little? Reich of the Black Sun, Nazi Secret Weapons, and the Cold War Allied Legend by Joseph P. Farrell. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I want to talk about James Von Brunn, the accused Holocaust Museum shooter, and his supposed extremist position and racist ideology that has been promoted on the internet. I've heard a lot of talk about this today. I probably would have done a video about this last night, but I had a couple of other things that I had to do, so I didn't get around to it. I already talked about the Holocaust, so I'm not going to talk about the Holocaust. Instead, I'm going to talk about supposed extremism and hate crimes and the way that this is going to go. Or how it's going to be played out in the media. It seems to me that the picture is slowly emerging that James Von Brunn found a quote-unquote home on the internet, according to all of the supposed hate watch groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center and others. That supposedly he's been on their radar for a long time as someone who supported extremist positions and hate towards various different groups, especially the Jews, which he claimed controlled the United States, created Barack Obama, and controlled our international banks, and basically were really horrible for the United States. I don't know the extent to which his supposed racist comments went. I tried to go to one of his websites today to look at it myself, but it has already been taken down. So right off the bat, we're going to have a funneling of information about this individual. Chances are you're not going to get first-hand stuff. Instead, you're going to get a lot of things that are handed out to the media by the powers that be, and that is in the current administration. Now, I don't condone someone going out and shooting someone for no good reason. You know, I mean, if you're defending yourself, then by all means, you know, if you need to kill to defend yourself, that's something that everybody can agree is perfectly reasonable. But to go out and to actively try to kill someone who did you no wrong and serves no purpose whatsoever is just ludicrous and absurd. And anybody who goes into that position and takes that stance deserves everything that the law would bring towards them. The problem with this entire scenario right here is the fact that this is being labeled as a quote-unquote crime of extremism and also a quote-unquote hate crime. And the problem with that is that this is a form of thought control. This is mind crime, okay? You can't believe and think a certain way that you do because it is extremist or it involves hate. Now, there's a far cry between going on the internet and saying, I hate Jews, or I hate blacks, or I hate Mexicans, or I hate illegal aliens, or I hate whatever group it is that you particularly want to hate, and actually going out and trying to shoot and or kill those people. Okay? One is a crime, the other is not, at least not yet. Now, most of you watching my videos are going to be aware of the so-called extremist documents that were put out by the Department of Homeland Security. And you probably will be aware of the fact that in Congress right now there are certain pieces of legislation that are getting ready to be voted on and or passed that address the issue of hate crimes. It has always been my contention that there is no such thing as a hate crime, so to speak, because what you have, let's say you have someone rob somebody. That person robbing that other person obviously feels a certain disdain towards the individual he's robbing, and may feel a certain anger and or hatred towards that person because he has something that he wants. Whether or not it's justified. So in effect, every fucking crime that's committed is a hate crime or a crime of whatever you want to talk about it. You talk about crimes of passion, well, isn't hate a passion? Okay? So if you're going to have hate crimes and you're going to outlaw these forms of so-called extremist activities, just because they lead to that, then obviously you'd have to tackle just about everything, and that would mean the destruction of the internet as we know it. That would be the destruction of freedom of speech as we know it. And furthermore, it would mean the total destruction of freedom of thought. And I'm just afraid that this action at the Holocaust Museum by James Von Brunn, allegedly, will be used to further the purposes of advancing hate crimes, which are ridiculous. If you commit a crime, it shouldn't matter what your motivation was. If you murder someone, here you murder someone because you hate them, here you murder someone because they got in your way and you wanted their money. Is this life more valuable than this life? Does it matter why you killed this one or why you killed this one? They're both fucking dead. I just don't see the purpose in hate crimes. And I think it's very important that we all stay focused on the fact that freedom of speech, freedom of thought is something that should be completely sacrosanct in this country. And tell your congressman that you do not support any further encroachments on our freedom of speech. Sitting at home, typing something on the internet, writing it out, telling it to your friends, all of these things, I don't care what it is you say. I don't care what it is. You can say, I want to murder 5 million fucking people. As long as you don't do it, you haven't committed a crime. And that's the way it should be. Thank you. Good night.